What's up, guys? My name is Ben. Welcome to Swish Therapy. Today I'm talking about the Charlotte Hornets week 1 in the books. What a week it was. 3-0. First time in franchise history. This is crazy. First of all, it's crazy that we are 3-0 for the first time in franchise history. I really thought that we would have won 3 games in a row to start the season at some point, but apparently not. Still, very impressive. So we started last week off against the Pacers. Big revenge game for the guys that were in the play-in game last year. The game did not start off very well. First quarter, Pacers dropped almost 38 points. Second quarter, 37. Not very good when you're giving up that many points in the first half. Not a very good defensive effort by the Hornets there in the first half. A little concerning starting that game off, but we turned it around in third quarter, outscored the Pacers 33-13. And of course, we ended up winning by 1 point, 123-122, when PJ Washington, who didn't really have that great of a game up to that point, came in, drained a couple clutch free throws, and then of course the defense on Domantas Sabonis there at the end, making him take a tough shot. Just missed it. Speaking of Domantas Sabonis, good Lord, man, that guy, he's a beast. I mean, I knew he was good, but he's really good. Like, he's a problem for most teams. He really presented a problem for us. I mean, he started out the game. Mason Plumlee couldn't do anything against him. PJ Washington came in a few times and I thought played pretty solid defense on him. Definitely did a better job than Mason Plumlee did. But Sabonis, what did he finish with? 33 points, 15 rebounds. I mean, he was just an absolute beast. We did not have an answer for him down low, and that was their concern coming away from that game. You know, how's our center rotation going to look with Plumlee and Washington? Are we going to be able to match up with these dominant bigs like Sabonis? And there's certainly some other ones in the Eastern Conference that we're going to have to face too. But jumping over to the Hornets, I mean, Lamellar Ball just was awesome. 31 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, he flirted with a triple-double in the first game of the season. And the thing about LaMelo is, I mean, he can score. Like, he can put it in the basket if he wanted to. If LaMelo really wanted to, he could average 30 a game. But he's a pass-first point guard, which I love. But I also love that when the Hornets were struggling offensively against the Pacers, LaMelo recognized that and he went in, he scored. You know, he hit 7 3-pointers in the game, and he was great from outside, 7 of 9 overall. But he just had a great game. Great start to the season. Gordon Hayward struggled to start out, but closing out that game especially, he was really, really good. Finished with 27. Miles Bridges with 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And Kelly Ubre didn't shoot it well overall, 5 of 17. But he hit a couple threes, timely threes, I thought, in the game. And I liked the energy that he came out with. I thought that he was a difference maker at times on defense. And then Ish Smith off the bench with 14, Cody Martin off the bench with 10. They provided some great minutes there. Closed it out with the win, 123-122. A few days later, last Friday night, we played the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. It was Cleveland's home opener. And it was a good game. Colin Sexton, really good, 33 points. Looking at the Hornets, Lamellar Ball, 17 points, 6 assists. So, you know, he had a solid game. Only played 29 minutes. That's something that we're kind of seeing early on, is that James Borrego is not shy about sitting LaMelo on the bench and resting him when needed, which through this 3-0 start has paid dividends, because, you know, by all means, if we're able to rest our star players as much as possible, I say do it. And with the way that some of the guys coming off the bench are playing, Ish Smith and Cody Martin, Kelly Ubre, he started a couple games, but he's going to be coming off the bench in his main role. They've just been awesome. Our bench players have been great so far. But Miles Bridges, man, against the Cavaliers, 30 points, 7 rebounds. He was great. He was really, really great. I thought he showed a lot in that game. The Hornets, of course, finished it off 123-112 victory. Again, third quarter, we came out scored 36 points, and then outscored the Cavs 33-23 in the fourth. You know, another great second half. Didn't have the strongest of starts. We were down at the half, but came out in the second half. And I don't know what they're doing in the locker room, but it's working. Really good overall performance against the Cavs. And then, of course, we got to talk about yesterday, Brooklyn Nets. You know, I know obviously they don't have Kyrie Irving. Well, the Hornets don't have their number one scorer from the last 2 years, Terry Rozier. So the fact that the Hornets went to Brooklyn on Brooklyn's home opener, and on a night where Kevin Durant scored 38 and he was Kevin Durant. I mean, he was unstoppable. He was making, it seemed like he was making everything. And we don't have Terry Rozier. And where Lamellar Ball doesn't play at all in the fourth quarter, we still win 111-95. Like, I know we're only 3 games in, but the Hornets are good. They're gonna surprise a lot of people. We're already getting some national media attention for beating the Nets, deservedly so. And I mean, let me dig into the stats here a little bit. I mean, we got to talk about Miles Bridges. I mean, I posed this question on Twitter at one point. I said, is Miles Bridges the Hornets' best player right now? I mean, obviously, Lamellar Ball is the Hornets' best player and will be hopefully for a long time. But right now, especially with Terry Rozier out and needing someone to pick up the slack scoring wise, Miles Bridges is playing at an all-star level through 3 games. Again, I know it's only 3 games, but he had an amazing game. He carried us against the Nets for stretches, 32 points, 9 rebounds, played great defense, shot 3 of 5 from three-point land, had that strip of James Harden and finished it off with the 360 dunk, which was awesome. He's just playing amazing. Miles Bridges is playing amazing. And I thought we should have signed him. I thought we should have extended his contract a few weeks ago before the season started. I was really hoping we could have gotten that done, but the two sides didn't come to an agreement. So they're going to let this season play out, see how it goes. If he continues to play like this after this season, the Hornets better pay the man. Like, pay him whatever you need to pay him to make sure he does not hit the free agent market. In saying that, though, I don't think that Miles Bridges is going to want to leave Charlotte. I mean, him and LaMelo it seems like they're best friends, and it really seems like they both love it in Charlotte and want to be here. So I think the Ball and Bridges duo is going to be around in Charlotte for a long time, and it's exciting. It's really exciting to see. But I mean, still talking about Bridges, I know Rozier has been out. He played a little bit against the Cavs, but hurt his other ankle, so he might miss a little bit more time. But aside from Lamellar Ball, Miles Bridges has definitely been the second best player on the team up to this point, maybe even the best, and he's really picking up that slack with Terry Rozier being out. Gordon Hayward, he played pretty well the first 2 games. He had an off night against the Nets. He only took 11 shots. He finished with 8 points. But the thing about Hayward is, every player is going to have off nights. Hayward obviously did not play that well. He didn't shoot that well against the Nets, but he affects the game in other ways too. He had 6 assists, I think, against the Cavaliers. I think he had, 9? Yeah, he had 9 assists. Gordon Hayward had 9 assists against the Cavaliers. So he's, he'll have games where he drops 30, and he'll have some off games. It looks like he's still trying to get his sea legs under him. He went 6-7 months without playing in an NBA game. So I'm not worried about Gordon Hayward and his subpar offensive performance. He'll be fine. But we got to talk about, aside from Miles Bridges, the biggest storyline, well, first of all, Lamellar Ball, he didn't even play the fourth quarter, and he had a cool 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. So, who knows what his numbers will look like if he would have played the fourth quarter. But the amazing thing is that we didn't need him. We didn't need Lamellar Ball in the fourth quarter. We didn't need our best player down the stretch. And that says a lot about our bench and how they were playing. We didn't need Ball or Bridges down the stretch, which leads me to pretty much the main takeaway from that game, which is our bench play. Ish Smith and Cody Martin. And Cody Martin has been super surprising through 3 games. He had 12 points in this one, shot 2 of 3 from the 3, and it's almost like the Hornets drafting James Bouknight kind of, I think, probably lit a fire under Cody Martin's butt to get in the gym, work on his shot, work on his all-around game, because he has come out in these first 3 games, and he showed it in the preseason too. And he's just been absolutely awesome. I mean, he was hitting pull-up threes in the fourth quarter. He had that one over Kevin Durant where he kind of sized him up and hit a 3. And I've never seen Cody Martin do that, especially in that moment of the game. So he's been great, and Cody Martin's playing so well right now that we have the luxury of sitting James Bouknight. And you know, I've seen some Hornets fans are upset that Bouknight is not getting minutes, but I'm okay with it. Bouknight will get an opportunity at some point, whether due to injury or whatever the reason. He will get an opportunity at some point, and Bouknight, I think, is going to be a great player for the Hornets. But Cody Martin is a veteran at this point, a better defender, and James Borrego obviously trusts him, and so I do not have a problem whatsoever with Bouknight not getting a ton or hardly any playing time up to this point, because he will at some point. Right now we just don't need him, just like we didn't need LaMelo in the fourth quarter. Which, speaking of that, I'm sure some of you saw this, but James Borrego said after the game that was LaMelo. LaMelo basically said, leave Ish in the game. Leave Ish Smith in the game. He's playing that well. These guys are on a roll. I don't want to mess that up. And that is, I cannot tell you how rare that is. It is so rare to have, your team's best player, your team's superstar, 20-year-old kid, obviously LaMelo, I'm sure, wanted to get back in the game, but he had the maturity to recognize that Ish Smith and Cody Martin and those guys that were on the floor, they really had it rolling, and the Nets couldn't do anything about it. And he said, no, we're good. Let's let them keep rolling. Like, that's just awesome. Just some quick week 1 storylines. Some of them we've already touched on, but Lamellar Ball, it's clear through 3 games he has made a significant jump, I think, from last season, from his rookie year. The sky's the limit. I think he has a good shot if he keeps playing this way. He has a good shot to be an all-star this year, and he's just going to continue to get better and continue to mature. And it's really exciting to see. Miles Bridges, speaking of people making a jump, Miles Bridges, who knows, maybe some of his motivation is from the Hornets and him, his camp, not coming to an agreement on an extension. But Miles Bridges, he has made a jump between last year and this year. He has been absolutely amazing. He is looking like an all-star right now. Ish Smith, I think we can all agree, fantastic signing. I mean, he comes in the game to spell LaMelo, and there's no drop-off in the pace. He keeps the pace up. He's so quick, and he pushes the pace for the Hornets, and he's a great distributor. And I didn't know, his scoring through 3 games, I did not know he had this in his game. How has he been on 12 different teams? Why have other teams not found a way to utilize him? I don't get it, but Ish Smith has been amazing. We talked about Cody Martin, and the improvement that he's made has just been awesome. Kelly Ubre, I really am liking so far what Kelly Ubre is bringing to the team. He's had a couple games where he hasn't shot it very well or very efficiently, but he's hit some shots in some pretty important moments. He's hit some timely shots. He plays hard. He can affect the game on defense. He can hit threes. He can hit shots when he wants to, or, you know, he's going to be streaky, but he can score. You know, what was it, the Pacers game that he had 25? Yeah, I mean, off the bench against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Ubre, 9 of 13 from the floor, 4 of 7 from three, 25 points. 25 points in 27 minutes. So Ubre is not, you know, he's not going to be the most consistent shooter, but he's always going to give you that effort. He's always going to give you that defensive versatility. And he has the ability, he has the talent to put up 25, 30 points on any given night, which is what I love. PJ Washington, offensively, I think it's been a bit of a struggle so far. I'm not too worried about that. We'll have to pay attention and see how that goes in the next few games, but he's had some good moments defensively, especially, you know, against the Pacers, locking up Domantas Sabonis there at the end of the game. And I do like what he brings on the defensive end. Hopefully he can turn it around and kind of get more involved in the offense. I think pretty soon we're going to see a PJ Washington game where he scores, you know, 20, 25 points. So we'll pay attention to that going forward. And the final thing I want to talk about as far as week one, not sure if you saw this, but have you seen this video of Jay-Z talking to Lamello? You know, he was at the shoot-around warming up. Jay-Z was on courtside, kind of pulled Melo to the side. You know, they were chopping it up a little bit. And if you look, and I've watched this video about 15 times, somebody on Twitter did some lip reading and put what they thought Jay-Z and Lamello were saying to each other, and it really looks like Jay-Z's asking him about, you know, whether or not he wants to come play for the Nets, and Lamello says, like, nah, I'm with Charlotte. And then Jay-Z says, oh, like forever? And Lamello says, like, just nods and is like, yeah. And then he tries to walk away, and Jay-Z like grabs his arm and is like, hey man. But like, again, there was no microphone, so you're having to kind of read lips, but it really seems like that's what he said. That's pretty cool if that's true. And I mean, it lines up with kind of what Lamello has said publicly. Lamello has said that he's kind of old school in the sense that he wants to stay with one team his entire career and build something there and build a winning team. And you know, he's only 20 years old, so 5 years from now, that could be totally different. That could change. But I'm going to choose to take what Lamello said at face value, and you combine that with a little interaction with Jay-Z. Okay, great. Sounds like Lamello wants to be in Charlotte, which is great because we want you here too, Lamello. Love you. All right, let's just touch on the games that are coming up this week. Tonight, in Charlotte, playing the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, not Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown is leading that team with 27.5 points per game. Jason Tatum's had some struggles in a couple of their games so far, but I don't think that's going to last. Hopefully it does continue tonight, though, when we play them. So that'll be a really good test for the Hornets. The Celtics are 1-2 so far. But if the Hornets can have back-to-back wins against the Nets and the Celtics, that will be a very good omen for the Hornets. 4-0 and wins against the Nets and the Celtics would be great. Wednesday, we play the Orlando Magic in Orlando, so that'll be interesting to see. Based on what we've seen so far, I think that the Hornets should definitely be favored in that one. And then Friday is going to be a really, really good test against the Miami Heat, who I really think is going to probably finish in the top 3 or 4 teams in the East this year. So if we can go into Miami and beat the Heat, which I think we will, that'll be another great building block for the start of the season. And then we finish out on Halloween. Halloween night, we play the Portland Trailblazers. That's going to be a really tough test against Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum, but that game's back in Charlotte, so another home game. All right, so that's it for now. Can't wait to watch this week's games. I hope you guys are excited about them too. Let's hope we come back next Monday 7-0. That would be amazing. Let's do it. Hornets 7-0. Let's get it done. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and check back next week when I recap Week 2's slate of games. See you next time.